Hello all, Rick here with a quick lore video and breakdown on one of the most fun pieces of gear from the Mass Effect universe, providing you can embrace the chaos that is the steering of the M35 Mako. To begin with, let's look at why it exists. The M29 Grizzly was the precursor to the Mako and was known colloquially as a battle taxi. The large six-seater infantry fighting vehicle had been the backbone of Alliance transport for decades prior and made for a solid choice when on the ground. However, with the Alliance eventually settling across numerous types of world and conducting operations on many more, the M29 eventually came up short for the variations in terrain, being too heavy and too large to be an optimised solution. It was also rather cumbersome to deploy. So it was that the Alliance began to work on its replacement, one that needed to be lighter, more compact, and able to handle a wider array of terrain for fast deployment, and mobility was the guiding principle of the Mako's design. The Mako was named after the shark of the same name, a trend that would continue with the M44 Hammerhead. And the Mako is completely environmentally sealed and pressurised to a standard oxygen, nitrogen, earth atmosphere, and it is radiation shielded as well as thermally coated to resist intense heat and cold. This makes it a refuge from all but the most inhospitable environments, while the Mass Effect generators maintain an internal gravity. It has 2 seats up front for the driver and presumably gunner, and 2 benches at the rear, housing 3 each for a total of 8 occupants. Each of the Mako's 6 wheels could be run independently from the others, allowing for rapid on-the-spot turning akin to a tank's treads. While the power core for the Mako is a hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell, one of the biggest additions to the Mako is the presence of the micro-ezo core, which is used to implement a Mass Effect field and increase or decrease the vehicle's mass as needed, to reduce impacts, and allow it to scale terrain that by all rights its weight should not allow. The vehicle is also equipped with 4 downward-facing fusion rockets that are used in conjunction with the Mass Effect field to cause the Mako to jump. This is useful for clearing some obstacles, as well as allowing for the transport to be safely airdropped. The Mako also includes horizontal boosters at the rear for sudden bursts of speed, and always fun for ramming. When being deployed, an area of around 100 meters is selected as the landing zone, and the dropship can then simply allow the Mako to drive from its shuttle bay and plummet to the planet's surface from what would usually be enough to cause a dropped vehicle to reach terminal velocity. The mass of the Mako is then reduced, while the rockets fire on full to slow the descent, allowing for a rapid deploying of the machine that takes only seconds. The advantages are obvious when deploying a craft in this fashion, limiting exposure of the dropship and increasing response times to an incident. It additionally has some rather effective Mass Effect shielding, which can recharge and snaps into place to deflect rapid projectiles, just as the ones that make up personal shields, or those found on ships. Its armaments are the 155mm mass accelerator cannon that sits atop its frame with an accompanying mounted machine gun. These sit on a swivel, offering 180 degrees of sight, designed to accommodate the hit-and-run style of mobile combat that it was envisaged for, as well as infantry support. All around the Mako are sensors that actively scan for incoming projectiles via their guidance systems, as well as a ground-penetrating radar that keeps an ear open for mines. These are hooked up to the vehicle's onboard computer, providing the driver with warnings that they'd need to preempt an attack or ambush much of the time. The angular design of the Mako is structured to deflect fire in a design that has been utilised since the earliest armoured vehicles, while its wheels remain unarmoured. This is compensated somewhat by the onboard Omnigel repair system that can funnel the semi-molten ceramic and plastic mix throughout the vehicle to patch and repair a certain level of damage. Despite all its resistances and the Mass Effect core, it is not indestructible. Small arms fire can eventually whittle through its shielding and hull, especially explosive ordnance, and corrosives are very dangerous to it. Additionally, if the Mass Effect field is not engaged by the driver, then impact damage is still possible, as seen when the initial Mako of the SSV Normandy was crashed through a mass relay and its successor crashed to the surface of Algera, although in both instances the frame of the Mako remained intact. Overall, the Mako is a remarkably durable vehicle, especially for its size, but drivers have noted that the Mass Effect field aboard it can make it feel overly floaty and prone to rolling in harsher terrain. Fortunately, the same issues that cause this oft chaotic driving are also responsible for preventing it from suffering damage from such accidents. So, what I'm saying is, you go and drive it off that 100-foot cliff and slam on the boosters, see how far you can make a car fly. Thanks for watching this video on the Mako of Mass Effect. My opinion of it is, you don't so much drive the Mako, you negotiate with it, forcefully, and it's hella fun. I've been Rick, and until the next video, thanks again, and goodbye.